Hey everybody, we're sitting down with somebody that I haven't seen in a long time, probably back in high school days, so over 10 years. Sitting here with Alysha Brown. Alysha, what did you get up to on what was a beautiful long weekend?
Well, what I do, I actually have an amazing story for what I did in the weekend. I went out and ticked off some bucket lists. I went snorkeling at Four Nights, and I went deep sea fishing and caught a kingfish and some snapper. And then I went flying and I actually flew the plane and did the takeoff.
Fantastic. How long have you been learning to fly, or was that just a coincidence?
No, I was actually tricked into it. The pilot said to me, just keep your feet on the pedals and just do exactly what I tell you. And I need you to do this to keep the plane stable. And I was like, yep, okay, cool. Definitely do what you need me to do. And he actually didn't have his hands on anything. So I was doing the takeoff without even knowing I was doing it. And it was sweaty and clammy, but it was amazing. So epic weekend.
Fantastic. And so you said there was a bucket list. So is that something you've wanted to do for a long time? And what sort of sparked that?
Yeah, so I create a bit of a bucket list usually every year of things that I perhaps want to tick off throughout the year and be a little bit more adventurous. And one of the things that I came across, I think on Facebook actually, was Four Nights. And they said that it's one of the top 10 snorkeling spots in the world. And it's literally on our doorstep. So I thought, all right, perfect opportunity. Drove maybe 2-3 hours, got a boat out for an hour and jumped in. Went and bought some flippers. I was in a bikini. It was very cold. Everyone else was in a wetsuit.
Nice. And then how'd the plane come about?
The pilot was just like, hey, do you want to come up for a ride? And I said, oh, I don't know. I've just got over my fear of flying with commercial, let alone on a small plane. Oh, and I thought, look, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You're going to get to do this. You need to do it. So I kind of composed myself, got strapped in. I'm like, right, okay, I'm going to do it. So did the takeoff, got up there, was a little bit bumpy, and then I tried again at sort of steering and flying, and I went a little bit too far to the side, and that was me. I was out and done. Yeah.
How did you get through your fear of flying, and what was it about flying that was sort of a barrier for you? Which must be tough living in Auckland when home's down south.
Yeah. The barrier for me is because I'm not in control of the situation. It's my life, I'm in it, and I'm not in control of it. Same with roller coasters. So I need to understand and have my mind in control of what is going on when I'm in the air. So I picked up a book on basically the mechanics of an airplane. So I could work through what every noise was, why it was making that turbulence, and the levels of turbulence. So I actually understood how everything was working, and I could process it and figure out that I had nothing to be scared of. There was no fear because I knew exactly what was happening.
Absolutely. It's something I relate to. People ask me about laser surgery and they sort of say, oh, I could never do that. But for me, knowing exactly what was happening, it was a breeze. So, yeah. So I haven't seen you for a while. Who's Alysha Brown today?
I know. I'm thinking maybe since we're, 19, 20?
Yeah, well, maybe 18.
I would say definitely about 10 years. What have I been doing? So I did the standard, went to uni, got the degree, and came out as a teacher, which is not at all what I planned on doing. I never thought leaving school I would come back as a high school teacher. So I actually taught at the school you went to for a couple of years, and then I moved to Tokyo for 2 years, came back, did a bit of reality TV show stuff, and moved back to Invercargill for about 6 months. But the transition from Tokyo, a concrete jungle, to Invercargill was just awful. I couldn't handle it. So I moved back to Auckland to kind of capitalise on what was happening at the time and make the most of it in terms of PR opportunities. So moved to Auckland, and I've been teaching ever since and doing some side gigs as well.
Nice. And so you're an English teacher, is that right?
Yeah, English.
Yeah. So what's a book that we should all read and why?
Ooh. It's going to be a hard one, but I would say The Alchemist. And
yes, I keep hearing about this book. Yeah.
It is very small, and you could read it and think nothing of it, like it was just a story, any old wee story. But if you actually delve into it, it's about creating the life that you want and overcoming those barriers and obstacles and how he does that. It's a very deep book, but it can be easily overread.
Mm-hmm. And is that something you're allowed to teach with a class and analyze, or?
Definitely, I would say it would go straight over their heads. But there is a bit of freedom in terms of what you can teach, and but it's all pretty standard.
Mm-hmm.
The curriculum and what we have to do. So
unfortunate. Now, you say you've been doing a little bit of stuff on the side, and I've spoken to a few teachers who often have a pull elsewhere. What do you think is driving the pull elsewhere, or is it that teaching drives you somewhere?
I would say at the moment it's a lot of work, and I know I hear this all the time that, oh, you start at 9 and you finish at 3 and you get all these holidays. No, you don't. You start very early, you work till very late, and often your weekends and your holidays are taken up with marking, because you have to meet the standards. So even though, yes, you get 2 weeks off, those 2 weeks are usually planned. It's a lot of work for very little pay, and you have to answer to a lot of people, particularly parents, and you've got a lot of kids in front of you trying to meet all of their demands and their different levels that they're at. There's a lot of diversity within the person that you've got to try and meet. So I would say that's probably what the pull out of teaching is the workload with the pay rate aren't quite meeting up yet.
Nice. And so what sort of school are you teaching in? You went to Southern Girls High and you've taught at James College, both very much public schools. Where are you at in Auckland?
Actually, when I got up here, I was at, I started off at an intermediate here, and it was based in Mount Eden. So in terms of decile, it's quite a high decile, and the social standing, I guess, of the parents from those kids is quite high. They're wealthy, well-to-do. And I was there for a little while, and I sort of thought, I want to give back a little bit more, and perhaps I was yearning for a little bit more of, I can feel that I'm making a difference. So I went to a school in Glen Innes, which is majority, that college out there is majority Pacific Islanders, so Samoan and Tongan children. And I think there were perhaps 7 Pakeha kids, maybe 1 Asian, 1 Indian. So I was definitely thrown into the deep end with that, and it was really tough, particularly being Pakeha myself and quite of small build, because majority of the year 9s were bigger than I am. So I stayed there for a year, and it got to a point where it got a little bit rough, and I was getting quite anxious. So I decided to step away from that and go back to what made me a little bit more comfortable and allowed me to pursue side interests as well.
Great, and you've managed to get overseas a little bit. What are some of your tips for making that sustainable? Having friends over there obviously helps.
Exactly, having a lot of friends in France is what actually helped. I would say I'm actually just very good with my money. I'd say that's something that I've always been good at. I manage my money well, and I know where I want to spend it and what I want to spend it on. So my outgoings per week are low, and I choose to keep it that way. Even in terms of my grocery shop, I maybe spend $50 to $60 a week on food. I don't really go out. I don't buy anything that's not necessary in terms of being a girl, clothing, makeup, all that kind of stuff. I do my best to do what I can, maybe collaborating with brands so that I can work with them and actually use their products. So it does allow me to have that money on the side for travel and adventure, and that's where Europe came about a couple of months ago.
Nice. And I see you, I don't know if it's from listening to Gary Vaynerchuk or not, but flipping a lot of the stuff that you've used maybe once or so. How did you sort of start making that into a little side business, and has it been popular?
Yeah, well, in terms of maybe the goods that I get given,
yeah, and the clothing and things like that,
yeah. So I do get sent quite a lot of stuff with my, I guess my branding and image is a lot around beauty and fashion. So I do get sent a lot of stuff to try, and I will try it. If it doesn't suit, it's not going to go on my page. If it's not genuinely a part of my lifestyle, I'm not going to be promoting it or posting about it. So I give a lot away to family and friends, but they're at the point where they have that much skincare and makeup that they don't actually want anymore either. So I sort of thought, it is a very good product, and I know a lot of people would love to use this product but can't actually afford it. So I usually pass it on for probably less than 50% of retail value is. And it gives me a little bit of cash on the side as well, so it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. So you say early start for you and can often be late getting home. What does the first sort of hour of the day look like for you? And obviously having to maintain a profile on social media and things like that, how do you sort of find a balance between working and your public relations life?
So I think with timing wise, I'm very lucky at the moment because I'm on contract work. So that means that I went away to Europe during the school holidays, the 2 weeks, and then I came back 2 weeks into the term. So I picked up a contract, which meant that I was relief teaching, but every day as that teacher. So I could essentially come in at 8:30 and leave at 3:30 because my planning was very minimal. But I'm very lucky in terms of that. A normal teacher who is full-time would be looking at, I was sort of looking at between 7 and about 6 o'clock at night. Particularly if NCA exams are around. I don't think a lot realise that every time the children do an essay, you have to give very constructive feedback in order to boost their levels. But not only do I mark my class set, which may be 30 students, you have to have them double marked as well, which means you're double marking another teacher. So you are actually doing 60 essays at once, which can get a little bit overwhelming when you're getting up to year 12 and 13. And their level of thought and explanations and analysis is very high, so it can take a lot of time.
And so you're a morning or an evening person?
My most creative hours are between 11 and 3. That's what I've been struggling with lately. I am up to 11 and 3. That's when I do my best work and my thinking and my note taking and my writing. So early in the year, again on my bucket list was to write a novel. So I wrote a novel at the beginning of the year. I finished it maybe in April. And I would quite often be up between sort of that 12 and 1 stage writing because that's when my ideas I felt were the best. And then I'd revise it during the day. So that's sitting on the back burner at the moment.
Nice. So how do you get in the zone to start writing? What's your sort of trigger to sit down, and what sort of tactics do you apply to that?
It's definitely atmosphere for me. So I do like nighttime to write in and with dim light and probably a candle. All my senses that get involved. So if I can, there's usually a scent, is this glasshouse candle that I kind of associate with creativity. So I'll have that going, low light, and probably a cup of peppermint tea, or if I'm really tired, maybe a coffee, and music that I won't sing along to.
And so obviously to begin with, that was sort of setting the scene. When you were really starting to get going writing the book, did that sort of straight away trigger you into the zone, or did you still have periods of not feeling like writing or sort of losing your way?
Definitely. I fully understood what they meant by this whole writer's block thing. And there were stages, I think, for about, they might have even been 2-week blocks where I just couldn't get anything out, or I'd get a couple sentences and I completely just delete it because I was just pushing and trying too hard. And then some days I would write 3,000 or 4,000, 5,000 words, up to the word count of at the moment is 70,000. And I've edited it twice, but I assume I will definitely still be missing a lot and need to revise.
Yeah. So each day, did you have a goal to write, or was it just what you got on the page?
No, I learned very early on that I couldn't say and set myself up that I needed to write 2,000-3,000 words because it wouldn't happen. I just needed to let it happen when it was going to. And to be honest, sometimes I was really busy. I mean, after work, there would be events on that I would be attending, so I didn't have the time. The time, maybe go to the gym, come back, get ready for an event, go for 2 or 3 hours and get home, I would be exhausted. So.
Yeah, nice. Look forward to seeing it come about.
Yeah, me too.
So you mentioned the gym there. What does exercise and wellness look like for you?
Quick, short bursts of it. I'm not going to be at the gym for an hour. You won't find me there doing that. It's going to be in, headphones on. I won't talk to anyone and straight into it for half an hour. So blast it out maybe on the cross trainer or the treadmill, and then into some maybe mat work in the rooms that you can go into. I'm at Snap Fitness, so I go in there, just grab a weighted ball and do some resistant work. So yeah, half an hour max, done.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so no time for a long swim anymore or a game of water polo?
No. God, I don't even know if I could probably swim. I would really be struggling to do that.
Nice. So you're a twin.
Yeah.
What's sort of a characteristic of having a brother like Brenton, as 5 or so years old, primary school age, that sort of shows up today? You mentioned being in control. Do you think that came from that?
I think so, because we are so very different. We're actually polar opposites in terms of that. But we had a discussion not long ago about the hidings that I used to get from him when I was younger. And I was like, you really went in, sometimes. And he's like, yeah, but it's made you the person that you are today. It was character building. Like, I don't know if I'll see it that way, but yeah, to some extent. I think he probably taught me how to deal with some students, which was really good. I mean, he wasn't the most well-behaved student at school. So he definitely taught me how to perhaps interact with them and about learning styles. So that, yeah, he helped in that respect.
Nice. And do you two still have quite a good connection, obviously, with his family and things, but being at the other end of the country, are you quite close, or is it
Yeah.
as is when is sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, actually, probably between maybe 19 and even probably up to 26, our communication wasn't great. I mean, we may have talked on the phone twice a year, if that. We really drifted apart, and it hasn't really been until the last 2 years that we've actually come back, and we've aligned a little bit. I think we've sort of matured and come to that point where perhaps when I was a 16-year-old female and he was a 16-year-old boy, the maturity levels were about a bit
Always never.
where it's like this now, and we can have a conversation without too much abuse flying around, and there's a little bit more respect there, and um, just an interest in each other and what we're doing. Mm.
Nice. So on the stag, we've had a few people from down south. We've had Eddie Dawkins, we've had Tony Dodds on here. And what do you think about the place and the freedom that allows you to, have confidence to go out and see the world? Is there anything that you could pinpoint about growing up in Southland?
From growing up in Southland, I think I've actually been asked this before, and I do get a lot of flack from people when I go from Invercargill and they hear the rolling R's. Um, I think Invercargill, because I find everyone down there very friendly and welcoming and super supportive of whatever venture that you go on. And I think growing up down there, probably in a little bit more of a rural environment, it gave me the freedom to try things out and not be scared to do that. And it was a nurturing environment. So I think at school I gave every sport that there was on offer a shot. Even though I was probably useless at a good 50% of them, I still did it because I felt like it was a safe environment to do so. And I think coming off the back of the show, I was actually really overwhelmed at how amazingly supportive everyone was from Southland. When I would go down home and they would say, we're so proud of you and how you came across and represented us. And I didn't get that anywhere else in the country. I only got that from people in Southland, and actually taking the time out of the day to message me. And I think that's a huge attribute of people from Invercargill and Southland, is that they do find the time to make sure that they are giving you praise and saying really nice things to you, and they are welcoming and very friendly. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I saw that followed through into your new venture, More FM down there, posting that you've released something. Do you want to tell us about what's going on as of last week in your life?
As of last week, yeah, it's been 1 week, and wow, what a whirlwind this week has been. About 6-7 months ago, I was at the grocery shop and I was stocking up my fruit and veg, and probably 70% of my cart is usually fruit and veg. And I noticed when I got home that I had about 8 different plastic bags full of fruit and veg, and I was just straight throwing them in the bin, or a couple of them would go in the fridge. And I was like, wow, you're doing this twice a week, and that's just you. And then I started to pay more attention to the sweating and the rotting and spoiling that was happening with my fruit, and particularly my spinach and broccoli that was going in the fridge. And I still thought, no, there's got to be something better than this. There must be something else. So I looked online for reusable produce bags. and I couldn't find any in New Zealand, which really shocked me because the supermarkets are making this change and move to put a tax and price on plastic bags and really pushing for reusable bags when we're coming out. So I thought, okay, there's nothing in New Zealand. I can find some stuff on Amazon, but for me to have them shipped over is about the price of the bags, which it seems ridiculous to me, and it's probably going to take quite a while. So I did research around what is actually happening in the fridge with our fruit and veg, what process goes on, and how can we eliminate that. And I discovered that when produce is harvested, not long after, it produces an ethylene gas. And apples and pears and apricots are really bad at this. So if you keep them in plastic bags, that's when that dewiness and that sweating comes about. And obviously that moisture, because they don't need the moisture, begins to deteriorate and rot the fruit. And if that's kept beside other vegetables, the same thing will happen. Spinach was having maybe like a 2-day shelf life for me. Same with broccoli, maybe 5 days before the bag was full of moisture. So I thought, all right, what material is going to help with that, or what can we actually do to help that? And then I looked at different cottons, and I created my label and the logo, and I had it put on bags, and I'd measured out sizes that I roughly wanted, 3, 4, I think 4 or 5 actually different sizes. I had samples made and I had them sent over. I tried them out, and I put broccoli in the largest one, and my broccoli lasted for 21 days.
Awesome.
I thought, wow. And my carrots lasted for about a month. I thought, this is really cool. And I loved the sizes. The sizes were perfect. I kept 3 of them, and I changed the material. So the biggest one is, it's a lot heavier weighted gram cotton, and that's purely so it is more durable, and you can fill it up with kumara and pumpkin. It would probably, and potatoes. I mean, it can probably hold about 12 large kumara. And then I changed the 2 smaller bags to a jute cotton, which is actually a little bit more sustainable as well. And it's a lighter feel. And I ended up changing the drawstrings because they weren't holding enough. I wanted to be able to pull them and hold and nothing would come out, just to have that traction. So then I thought, right, if you're going to do this, you need to do it now, while there's a bit of a push for plastic free in the supermarkets. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all in, I'm going to have faith in this. And I ordered a huge number of units, get them shipped over.
I saw your post of all the packaging. It looks serious.
I have about 1,500 of them, and I started to learn, okay, how am I going to market this? How am I going to go about this? I need to get a content creator. I mean, I can take pictures, but I wanted someone who was really professional at doing it and could kind of give a different angle and a different style. So I actually found an amazing lady over in Australia. I sent the bags over to her. We did a mood board and what kind of feel we wanted, and we did 20 images from that. I came up with the cards, and these are the wee cards that go in with the package, and that kind of gives the tier weight and how to look after them and what they actually do. And then we had to get onto the website, and I knew that a website was going to be one of the biggest expenses for a business, so I actually decided to do it myself. I sat down for a day, very frustrating day. I think I had a couple of wines as well, and actually built the website myself, and it's come out amazing. And on the Tuesday, I'm like, right, I'm ready to go. I've had a couple of days sitting with this, playing around. Everything's working. I've got all the payment methods and shipping up. Let's do this. So I launched on the Tuesday, and it was amazing. So thank God I haven't actually been working or teaching, or I wouldn't be able to keep up. So
nice. What's the platform you've got the website on, and what's the platform for the payment?
So a lot of people recommended to me Squarespace and Shopify, I think, but I actually went with Weebly, which is a drag and drop creator, and it was very easy to hook up PayPal and Visas and MasterCard, and I can go in at any time through the back and change anything really, really quickly. it was easy for me. By no means am I great with technology. I'm actually really hopeless. So the fact that I could build this website and it's come out pretty good says a lot. So I would definitely recommend Weebly if you're starting up a small business.
So that's awesome to hear. And yeah, I've likewise heard about Squarespace and Shopify working quite well. Yeah. The brand is Eco Saint, is that right? Yep. What's behind the brand?
Again, this was like between 11 and 1 a.m. And I know there are so many brands out there and products that feature the word eco, and I wanted it to sort of pertain more to the person and the person that was buying it and relate to them. And I wanted this idea of joining a community or a family. So I've called it the sainthood, like joining the sainthood. So when you get your wee card, which is these wee cards, to start off with, it's hello there, fellow eco saint. And I run with this idea that on the website as well, that the bags sort of speaks for themselves. So they will say, hi, my name is, and this is what I can do, rah. So I've made it a little bit more fun and playful. And yeah, I think that's where Eco Saint came from. And I just had to play around when I was creating the logo and what looked good and what sounded good and maybe stood out a little bit more from other eco brands that are around.
Lovely. What sort of feedback have you had from people?
Yeah, amazing. A lot of people have it appears to be that they've been wanting something like this, but again, they haven't been able to find it. And it's a simple idea, but it has such a big impact upon people and their use of plastic, and even just having something to store vegetables and fruit, and particularly because it is summer fruit season. A lot of people, if they've got their nectarines and their apricots, and I'm sure we've all had apricots before and left them in a plastic bag, and they last about 2 days, if that, because of the ethylene gases. So really amazing feedback, and with the sizes. So, I mean, they've only been, I did my first shipment on Wednesday. So I guess most people maybe have had them for 4 or 5 days. I think I shipped off maybe about 40 bags this morning, 40 sets. I sent some over to, because I'm doing shipping to the UK as well. And I sent a package off to Greece today, which was really cool. And a lot of people from Invercargill and Southland supporting, which is amazing. I love seeing that when the address comes through.
No, that's fantastic. So you've taken a leap in a lot of things that you've done.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of thing to leave people with about, I don't know, as you say, even with flying, getting over the anxiety of it? Do you have a good message to share with people about taking a leap into the thing that sort of guides you or is an itch for you? Do you have something that you live by or something like that?
Something I live by is actually something I have tattooed on myself. So I've been to live by it. And it's always been, I've had this for, I guess, maybe 10 years now. It says live and love without regret. So I always try to live without any regrets and put fear aside, because it is just a feeling, and go for it. And I am very much a believer of visualization. So every night before I go to bed, I will list off what I am grateful for. And it might be simple things about, I may be grateful for when I got my coffee in the morning, how warm and friendly maybe the barista was, or just standard things like for my health and for my family, the fact that I have the means to have a roof over my head and a car. So I try to list 10 things every night that I am grateful for, and then I visualize what it is that I want my week or my year to look like. I will create boards and have on them the words that I associate with what I want, or images, so that I'm looking at that like a vision board. And also something else I do every new year, I will write down, I will do 3 different lists, and they will be things I want to do this year, the person I want to be, and then I'll focus on something else. It might be what I want in a partner or what I want in my business life. And then I put that away for a year, and then I'll go back and look at it and see what's actually achieved and happened. So
nice. And it's amazing when you write stuff down and go back to it and see that it's come to fruition.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Going back to the beginning there, how did you get started with writing bucket lists? Was it the movie, or that's just the name for it?
I think I realized a few years ago that I was coasting by and not doing a lot with my life, and I was wasting it. I wasn't taking enough risks, and that was maybe 3 years ago. So I started writing down things that I wanted to do and that would maybe push me to achieve more. And then my aunt and I were very close. We grew up very almost like mother and daughter, more like sisters. We were best friends. She was sort of my go-to for everything, talk on the phone every day. And she got really sick. She got diagnosed with cancer. She was not diagnosed to begin with, so it spread quite fast. And we had a lot of conversations around, what she regretted. And that was that she'd never really traveled and got to do a lot of things because it was just a safe environment where she was in Invercargill, and she didn't venture out of that too much. So when she passed away about a year ago, I definitely made it a point of I'm going to do everything possible. And I always say it'll make a great story for the grandkids one day. Even though my mum or dad might be horrified about what I'm doing, I'll go, oh, it's a great story. You can tell it at my 50th or something like that. So I don't know. And to be honest, I don't have any regrets in life. And I think that's the amazing thing is when people ask, do you have any regrets? I go, actually, no, I don't. Because even during like my toughest times or where I thought, oh God, Alysha, you shouldn't have done that. I learned something from it. And I say, everyone that comes into my life is a blessing or a lesson. So you've either done something amazing and I love you to be a part of my life, or I've learned something from you and you've become a lesson. And I take that and move on with that.
No, thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. Now you've got to shoot off to get to a business meeting, as is the case with new startup businesses. You're in hot demand and
so much I need to learn.
Got to keep things running.
Some business studies. We're looking at had a few businesses contacting about wholesaling, so getting the product into their stores and their online stores. But this is something I'm not that familiar with. I need to learn about reseller agreements with these businesses and a sliding scale for wholesale, depending on quantity. So from English teacher to learning all of this, it's definitely been an eye-opener. So
absolutely. So where can people find you and find EcoSaint and yeah, get in contact or make an order of a good sustainable grocery bag?
We have a website, a Facebook page, and an Instagram. So if you go to the Facebook or Instagram, it'll link you through to the website. At the moment, because the website is only a week old, it hasn't registered completely. So if you type in ecosaint.co.nz, it's not going to come up all of the time because it's too new. So the best way is to go onto Instagram, EcoSaint, or onto my personal one, Alysha Jade Brown, follow through the link, or Facebook, EcoSaint NZ, and go through there. And yeah, pretty reasonable. I mean, a three pack is $20. I've made it that way because I want every household to have them to be affordable. $20, and if you spend over $25, it's free shipping in New Zealand as well.
Magic. Thanks very much, Alysha, and cheers. Hope lots of people are making lots of orders.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.